faced with sun on Monday, sun on Tuesday, sun on Wednesday, sun on Thursday, sun on Friday. And we're not even in the May 24th weekend anymore, and we're still seeing sun and amazing temperatures. Just yesterday it was 22 degrees. It was amazing seeing the temperature get that high, and today 15. I mean, where does it end? I hope it never ends, to be honest with you. These incredible temperatures we've been seeing, the only unfortunate setback, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, a couple of weeks prior, we're going to be faced with a hurricane in the first week of September, and that really sucks. We're going to be in the path of a hurricane. How accurate is that? I really don't know. We've got a Jennifer Lopez Janeway ad also posted on our Facebook page at HEW Entertainment. Jennifer Lopez speaking on the behalf of the Janeway, which I found to be really cool. And she's got a lot of stuff coming up in Vegas as well. There are details over on our Facebook page at HEW Entertainment. When a celebrity speaks out about things like the Janeway Hospital, which we're so close to, I kind of feel like I know Jennifer Lopez. I kind of feel like I've known her all my life. Now, I've known a lot of different wrestlers and celebrities over the years. But it's kind of cool when you see a celebrity reaching out and raising awareness to something you don't expect them to do. And the last place I thought that Jennifer Lopez would make time to acknowledge and raise awareness for was the Janeway. And that's perfect with the Janeway Children's Telethon coming up over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be taking place in June, and there are going to be millions of dollars raised for this. And having Jennifer Lopez help out only makes it better for the Janeway and their final total, which we will see. That will be reached at the end of the Janeway Telethon, which will run for a couple of days. It's a great cause. Definitely support it. And obviously Jennifer Lopez knows more about it than what we thought she knew about it. Makes me wonder what other celebrities think about the Janeway as well. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke. As I said before, you can join me on Facebook at HEW Entertainment and on Twitter at Jonathan Clarke1. We are talking about Brie Bella and her future with WWE this week. It's an interesting topic because of the situation surrounding Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan forfeiting the Intercontinental Championship because of the uncertainty of his career just 4 months after he came back, after missing several months of action, about a year and a half, and now he's back on the injured reserve list again. Some people thought it was the end of Daniel Bryan's career after holding every championship he was eligible to have competed for in WWE, including U.S. titles, world titles, WWE World Heavyweight Championships, tag team titles. Daniel Bryan's resume he's accumulated in 5 years, really impressive, and a WrestleMania main event in there as well against the likes of Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista in a triple threat match, the greatest achievement and accomplishment of his career. But that's not the case, and I myself thought Daniel Bryan was retiring, but it's not the case. Daniel Bryan, basically what's happening here with Daniel Bryan is that Daniel Bryan is uncertain about his future with WWE. There's no indication that Daniel Bryan is leaving WWE forever, so I think we're going to see the day again when Daniel Bryan will wrestle. Now, as a result of this, the Intercontinental Championship has been put up and declared vacant in the Elimination Chamber match. That's the Elimination Chamber main event. When it comes to the chamber matches, we're going to be seeing people like Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, King Barrett, Rusev flying for the Intercontinental Championship, which was vacated by Daniel Bryan. But after that emotional goodbye from Daniel Bryan doing the yes motion and the yes movement being celebrated the way that it was, the fans being so emotional, it seems like Daniel Bryan and the fans aren't the only ones emotional because Brie Bella is caught up in the emotion as well. She said it was an emotional time for herself and Daniel, having to deal with Daniel wanting to do something he's wanted to do his whole life, being unable to do it because of a major injury, his second major injury within the last year. It's been less than a year since Daniel Bryan has had these two major injuries. It's been unbelievable for Daniel Bryan within 1 year to have these two injuries. What a hell of a ride Daniel Bryan has been on. He was one of my favorites, to be honest with you, to be very open about how I feel about Daniel Bryan. He was one of the more entertaining new talented instant wrestlers, and I wasn't expecting so many people to be affected by Daniel Bryan going out with a major injury like that were. I was hoping that people like Brie Bella were still going to have her head in the game with how much experience she was offering to the Divas division, how she was making it better. But obviously she has lost her train of thought and her head seems to be elsewhere. And I can't blame Brie Bella for making this decision to be contemplating leaving the WWE, given how long Daniel is going to be out, especially with how the doctors more so don't know what's wrong with Daniel Bryan. That's what's scaring, I think, for Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella both from their perspectives. I think that's what's frightening them the most. They don't know what's wrong with Daniel Bryan. And take it from somebody who has documented a lot of injuries where there haven't been diagnoses put on these different injuries. It's absolutely ridiculous when you hear the number of injuries you hear about that there's no diagnosis put on. You know, I tried explaining this to another individual a couple of days ago about a diagnosis and not knowing what the diagnosis is. It's very common for that to happen, and it's just unfortunate that things had to go the way they did for Daniel Bryan, especially with how I was a fan of Daniel Bryan. And I can tell you this, Daniel Bryan may not have been my all-time favorite wrestler, but he was quickly becoming my favorite of the New Talent Initiative. And he's a hell of a lot better of a wrestler than what The Miz is. The Miz is too caught up within Hollywood and the bright lights to be concerned about being a wrestler or holding a championship these days. He doesn't want to deal with Damien Sandow anymore. They've killed the Miz Down gimmick, trying to make him popular. Hopefully that will benefit Miz Down and as Damien Sandow now with the elbow disdain coming back. So hopefully good things will go his way. But the thing is, Daniel Bryan was a far better wrestler than anybody you could put him up against. The only one who could go toe-to-toe with someone like Daniel Bryan would have been either Cena or CM Punk. We know what John Cena is doing now as the U.S. champion, really pissed off over how we've got a feud between the NXT champion, currently Kevin Owens, and John Cena. That's going nowhere. And on the other side of the coin, we have Elimination Chamber matches now for the Intercontinental title. But getting back to Brie Bella here, I just hope that we don't see the end of Brie Bella's career as we're going to be seeing for Daniel Bryan, apparently, because I think that Brie Bella did an exceptional amount for the Divas division. She definitely changed it, and she changed the way, along with her sister Nikki, who's the current Divas champion, coming off a loss at the Payback pay-per-view, which was obvious because the Bella Twins are contemplating leaving both of the Bella Twins. That makes it more depressing than what it could be with both of them leaving, as opposed to one with Brie Bella obviously being the one contemplating it more than Nikki Bella, and Nikki Bella running with the gimmick of being the women's champion, or the Divas champion rather, and staying, the one Bella Twin that stays. That's the way I originally thought it was going to go. You know, Brie Bella was going to go elsewhere with her life. Nikki Bella was going to be the one true Bella Twin loyal to the WWE as the Divas champion, but apparently both of them are contemplating retirement. So should we hold the Bella Twins accountable for wanting to go, or should we be supporting the Bella Twins? Given their reasons, let me say this. There should be nobody out there who should get away with criticizing the Bella Twins. And I'm not saying it because I've been a huge fan of the Bella Twins. I'm saying it because it's legit. This is a legit reason for wanting to go. The difference between the Bella Twins wanting to go and AJ wanting to go, putting it into perspective here for you, AJ handled her retirement so unprofessionally. She went to Twitter, for God's sake, and released a 15-word tweet about how she didn't want to do it anymore. And she thanked the WWE for the opportunity she had been given and to run with that opportunity for 5 years, being given that privilege. She held the Divas title longer than anyone. And from my point of view, I don't know about your point of view, but from my point of view, how I chose to look at AJ handling her retirement, I chose to look at it very unprofessionally because there was no in-ring promo like Daniel Bryan gave us. There was no in-ring promo like Divas of the past gave us in the way of a Trish Stratus. It was just here 1 minute, gone the next. She was gone for a number of months. She was her absence was noticeable, is what I'm trying to say here. Her absence was noticeable. And we didn't see AJ on television week in and week out, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm back. Her entrance music hits. She comes back a couple of weeks before WrestleMania, has one match at WrestleMania. She was in action the following night, and then she was here 1 minute and gone the next. And I hope that when the Bella Twins do leave the WWE, I hope what happens for them is they handle it more professionally than what AJ handled her retirement, because the fans, they need that. And the fans of the Bella Twins are up there in the millions, more especially with how they were the focal point of Total Divas. And even more so, the Bella Twins' departure seems to be inevitable because it seems to be what is what. It seems to be a fact because there's no promotion for Total Divas Season 4 unless they can put a diva or divas in the same position the Bella Twins are going to be leaving the series in. With the number of ratings we saw, how high the ratings were for Total Divas, I do think we'll see that they will see the show back. But in the absence of the Bella Twins, with that coming up as early as possibly SummerSlam, when their contract is expected to run out, I don't think Total Divas is going to be talked about anytime soon unless they can put a diva in the same position, or divas in the same position that the Bella Twins were in. And the Bella Twins gave us so much. I mean, I remember seeing the Bella Twins working against Victoria, known as Terra in TNA on the Independents, possibly going by her shoot name these days because I haven't followed Terra for a long time. I remember seeing her one of the last times in TNA, and then she went in some independent work. Haven't heard talk of her since. But I remember the Bella Twins' first couple of matches against Victoria, better known in the WWE, and the Twin Magic. The psychology of Twin Magic was great. If you ever wanted to put wrestling psychology on display, it's maybe not wrestling psychology of a Roddy Piper or a Jake the Snake Roberts, oh hell no, but it is wrestling psychology, and it's some of the best wrestling psychology I've seen in years. Switching places, obviously oblivious to the person you're against, or persons you're against. And here comes Twin Magic, and it obviously benefits you. So, you know, if it benefits you and you can do it and get away with it, I mean, how can it not be classified as wrestling psychology. The Bella twins, no matter how you choose to look at them, were two of the best, and even more so Brie Bella because she was champion ever before Nikki was, and she held the Divas Championship multiple times in her career. So did Nikki, but it took Nikki longer to get that opportunity because obviously Brie Bella had proven herself sooner than what Nikki Bella did. This leads me to my next point about how Brie Bella did everything before her sister did it and kind of just went to be in the corner of Nikki Bella after holding the Divas Championship a number of times. Maybe she's got to this pivotal point in her career where she realizes she's held the Divas Championship multiple times. She doesn't need to hold it a third or fourth or fifth time. And she kind of just take a backseat to everything Nikki Bella is doing. And obviously it's getting to her. She doesn't want to be in the corner of Nikki Bella anymore. She realizes she doesn't have to help push Nikki Bella, even more so because of Nikki's relationship with John Cena, getting her elsewhere in the business. Obviously, that has a significant influence on how Nikki Bella is being treated now compared to recent years. So obviously, Brie Bella knows the position that Nikki's in. Obviously, she was helping her for a little bit in her corner, as Nikki was in her corner when the situation had been reversed and Brie was champion. So obviously now Brie Bella's kind of just putting her life in perspective, given Daniel Bryan's situation, and she wants to go elsewhere, along with how he wants to go elsewhere for the time being. And here's how I choose to look at the situation with Daniel Bryan. How can you be around something, making appearances as general managers, or as just making an appearance in the way of a promo, updating us on your condition, using your finishing move on somebody who comes out and interrupts you? You cannot be around something and not compete, because you know in the back of your mind that's what you want to do. And obviously that's what Daniel Bryan wants to do. That's why when he's champion, the unfortunate thing about Daniel going down with an injury, maybe it would have been easier if Daniel would have went down with an injury when he wasn't champion or Intercontinental champion. But the two times Daniel Bryan has gone down, he's been either champion or Intercontinental champion. So it was made more difficult for Daniel Bryan to have to surrender both titles, the first time to the Authority and the second time by leaving the title in the ring, which is the more respectable thing to do, in my opinion, than retiring the championship to a bunch of idiots who just treat you like shit and have a tendency to walk all over you. It had to be way more difficult for Daniel Bryan, treating the title with respect like he recently did, with his future being uncertain at this point. I know a lot of people have said it in the past, but I mean, just imagine how difficult it is for Daniel Bryan, because how can you be